Super Dragon Ball Z!
So on this channel years ago, as part of my giant 60-part Tenkaichi 2 Let's Play, I briefly played Super Dragon Ball Z and went through arcade mode as Frieza. But I didn't finish it. That playthrough is unfinished. It was a single video, just like this is a single video, but in that video I stopped when I died. And this time I'm just going to finish the entire arcade mode. What changed, you might ask? Well, this time, this recording was for the long play archive, which is my job, so obviously I had to finish recording it. But it's not like the game isn't fun to play. I've beaten arcade mode in this game many times as many characters, and it's fun. You make a character card, you play through arcade mode with that character, collect the Dragon Balls, make a wish to make the character stronger, go through it again, get a different wish the next time. It's kind of addicting. And the game has a lot of presentational oomph to it. I love the music in this game, I love the menus, I love the style. It doesn't translate well to a recording, no matter what you're recording with, but this recording certainly looks better than the other one on my channel, at least. This also was originally an actual arcade game, something you played on a cabinet, in like a Pizza Hut, I presume. I don't know if the arcade cabinet was actually released anywhere in America, to be fair. But this is a PlayStation 2 port of the arcade game, and we're playing through arcade mode. We're playing as Frieza, and Frieza's exceptionally good at spamming projectiles. Frieza's Death Saucer and Psychokinesis are just very helpful. They are a lovely crutch to lean on, because I haven't played this game in quite some time. I used to play it a lot. Like when I first got this game, my brother and I played it constantly, learned all the characters' movesets, spent forever in training mode practicing their movesets, leveling up the characters, unlocking all the stages and the optional characters. Like you can play as Cyber Frieza in this. Cyber Frieza is an unlockable character. The game's just, you know, fun to play. It's bumpy. The music is exciting. Everything is cel-shaded really lazily, but that's okay. Lots of voice clips, lots of explosions, lots of projectile spamming. And I would feel bad about projectile spamming, but I never have in my life. Never once felt bad about projectile spamming. I'm sorry if that breaks anyone's feelings about me, if maybe you think I'm a worse person now. But if projectile spamming helps you win, I say go for it. And from what I understand, by reading a comment on my old video as posted by the Samurai Goomba, projectile spamming is just the meta in this game. His comment was a lot more nuanced than that, and obviously Trunks is more geared toward close range fighting, but what I got from the comment is that projectile spamming is the meta in Super Dragon Ball Z. And I'm glad to have someone who plays fighting games give an opinion, because I don't usually play fighting games with the exception of Dragon Ball. Anyway, after you win a match, you get some experience, which you can use to get new skills when you level up. And you get a Dragon Ball, and if we complete arcade mode, we get all 7 Dragon Balls and can make a wish. I said witch, but I meant wish. We can make a wish with Shenron. There are a lot of different nuances to this game that I'm not even going to pretend to understand. At one point, I had a lot more knowledge about how the game worked, but that's gone now. It's been way too long. By the way, the music on Namek is my favorite, by far. I'm not gonna make you listen to it or anything, because it would be hard to hear over all the shouting anyway, but if you can look up the soundtrack sometime, maybe look up the Namek stage. Yeah, this game has a lot of pleasant, positive memories for me. I played it a lot with my brother. We played a lot of DBZ fighting games together. The one we played the most was probably Raging Blast 2. It's one of the few games I ever played PvP online, was Raging Blast 2. I love Raging Blast 2. It's my favorite DBZ game mechanically, but I haven't played some of the newer ones yet. It's not like I've played even Xenoverse yet. And you know, Dragon Ball Kakarot looks lovely, and I'd love to play that sometime. It's just, you know, I already owned like 20 Dragon Ball Z games, and there are other things to play too. But anything I can tell you about this particular game is something you could probably figure out if you've even played a fighting game once or twice before. There's an action gauge at the bottom that depletes when we do things like a dash or fly. There's our super meter below our health, which lets us use supers, which deal more damage than our regular projectiles. And of course the yellow meter is our health. We have different combos, and we can use square and triangle to pull off different moves, sometimes by chaining square and triangle together. it's nothing you couldn't figure out for yourself, I'm sure. And there are plenty of other nuances to the system, I'm just not qualified to talk about them. Like, I picked up this game for the first time in quite a while, and I played as Frieza because I remembered how to play as Frieza. And I'm not, like, the best Frieza player or anything, obviously. It's just I remember what Frieza's moves are and how to use them to win arcade mode. And most importantly, I like the game. I think that matters. I like it enough to care about it. Well, I don't think the planet should have blown up over that. This game did aid in my confusion about Dragon Ball and how it works. For the longest time, as a child, I thought that the manga ended after Cell was defeated, and everything after that was anime invented, because both Dragon Ball Z Sagas and Dragon Ball Z Budokai and Super Dragon Ball Z ended their stories after you fight Cell. And Super Dragon Ball Z had a lot of manga effects, and on the case they advertise it's supposed to more closely mimic the manga art style. And I just felt like there couldn't be 3 games that ended after you fight Cell for no reason. Like Dragon Ball Z Budokai and Dragon Ball Z Sagas and Super Dragon Ball Z didn't end immediately after you fight Cell just because, right? But no, that is why. They just end after you fight Cell because. There's no particular reason that the Buu Saga isn't included, besides they just didn't include it. And figuring that out was baffling to me. But now I've just come to accept it. And it's not like I'm upset about it, because it's been a while since Tenkaichi 2, but my opinion on the Buu Saga hasn't really changed. I think the only good thing to come out of the Buu Saga was Hercule's character development. That's like the only positive thing I can glean from the Buu Saga. And it's not like the Android Saga and Cell Saga aren't a fucking mess, but I love them so much because there's so much good character interaction involved. And I'm heavily biased toward character interaction. That's my favorite thing in fiction, for sure. And you might be wondering, you know, why am I making this video if I'm not that great at the game? And I'm just going to talk about Dragon Ball the whole time. And the answer is because I like talking, and I like talking to you guys in particular. And you sure seem to find this entertaining. But there are a couple of other reasons. One of the other reasons is it really bothered me that I had an unfinished playthrough of Super Dragon Ball Z on the channel. I have a lot of unfinished playthroughs on the channel that aren't going to be finished. Let's not get crazy. I'm not going to go back and finish all of those. I was going through a lot of shit. And I'm a different person now, and I don't make commitments I can't keep no more, unlike I used to. I used to make commitments I couldn't keep all the time. But Super Dragon Ball Z is a quick game that it's easy to play through, so it bothered me that I left an unfinished playthrough on the channel, and I'm fixing that. Another reason I decided to record it and talk over it is for the good feels of talking over Super Dragon Ball Z. It just feels nice to talk over a game that I've played a lot, and that I care about. Even if I'm not the best at it, and barely competent at it, but I am competent enough to finish it. And comfort is important when you're moving for the 3rd time this year in just a couple days. It is the 28th, as of me recording this. It just turned the 28th a couple hours ago. Just finished recording Kill Switch earlier, and then I napped, and now it's time to talk over Super Dragon Ball Z. And I'm moving October 1st. I moved to Florida, and then I moved to Oklahoma, and I'm staying in Oklahoma this time, even staying in the same city. I'm just moving into an apartment with someone else who is also very dear to me. Make sure you always move in with people who are either dear to you or who seem like they have the potential to be dear to you. It makes things a lot easier, I'm sure. So it's always made it easier for me. That advice may not be applicable to everyone. It's just advice I'm going to follow. And I've grown fond of this neighborhood in my time staying here. You know, I went on walks almost every day for a while. Went on walks to the local food chain. And you see things there. You know, you see the same employees every day. You take the same excess of napkins every day. You see the same old man sitting by the window every day. And you're like, oh, this old man must come here for lunch every day. That's not so weird. But then you see him during breakfast and dinner, too, and you just kind of talk to him one time, and he's real nice, and you make friends, and you're like, yeah, I hang out here all the time, too. It's my feel-good spot. And that's just a pleasant experience. It's just a pleasant, nice experience, and there's no, like, sad ending or twist to that story. It's just a feel-good story, I'm sorry. And I watched the entirety of Steven Universe with my roommate while I lived here. Showed me all of the original Steven Universe run, and the movie, and Future. I love Future the most. Don't at me. It's not like I love the entire show the whole time, but there were at least a couple episodes of the original run of Steven Universe in particular that talked about a lot of things that I thought were really important for the emotional development of adults that should be talked about more often. I revisited Quest for Camelot here, watched a lot of movies with my boyfriend over Discord. I merged into one person while I was here, and I stopped having breakdowns all the time. It's a slow process, but I've leveled up as a person, and I've been more responsible and considerate of other people, and it's a fun process. You never stop growing. The only thing I really dislike about growing is that sometimes things have to break for you to grow, and that's never pleasant. Like, you know, sometimes you'll say something wrong, and you didn't know it was wrong at the time, and it hurts someone, and then, you know, you learn better. You learn to communicate better so that way you hurt people less. You learn how to mentally work around things that used to hurt you. But, you know, sometimes things break, and they can't be fixed. And it's to be expected. You know, even if you didn't mean to do some things, they still hurt people and they still have consequences. And it's good to remember that no matter what those consequences are, it's important to get better and not use the pain as an excuse not to get better. No matter how many times you fuck up, there's always more. Like, you just gotta accept that. You can't just live a life where you never fuck up again. And people aren't going to hate you because you fuck up. Maybe some people will hate you because you fuck up, but general people will not hate you because you fuck up. You will always have more friends. And if you lose all your friends because you fuck up, DM me. But no, for real, you'll find more friends. As long as you strive to be a better person, somebody will want to be with you. Krillin is absolutely wrecking my shit because Frieza's psychokinetic rock barrier does not stop the Destructo Disc, and I would like to rewire my brain to stop using the psychokinetic rock barrier. I would love to do that, but my brain just keeps telling me to do the psychokinetic rock barrier, even though I know it won't work. So this fight's a lot more challenging than it should be. But if I had the additional brain cells to use Frieza's third projectile, instead of spamming the psychokinetic rocks and Death Saucer exclusively, the fight would be going a lot better, I promise. It's not like Krillin is just Frieza's kryptonite or anything. There are ways to win without looking foolish. I just have not chosen that path. Actually, instead of this Super Dragon Ball Z recording, originally for work I was supposed to record The Sims on PlayStation 2, the original Sims game, for PlayStation 2, not The Sims 2 on PS2. I already did that one. And I couldn't do it in time for the move. So that would mean that I certainly wouldn't have made my deadline, which was the 28th, which is today. I'm absolutely confident I can finish The Sims, and it will be done for work, but the time just wasn't adding up, so I recorded Super Dragon Ball Z and Godzilla Unleashed instead. And that was a good decision, because those games put me in a good mental space to leave. Like, I'm ready to leave. I'm ready to move to my new home. Because Super Dragon Ball Z and Godzilla Unleashed gave me good memories and good feelings. But back to Super Dragon Ball Z itself. I do wonder a lot why it's called Super Dragon Ball Z exactly. I mean, it probably has something to do with who made it and what else they made before. Like, I know maybe someone who was involved with Street Fighter 2 had something to do with developing it. There's probably a super in one of the Street Fighter 2 things. One of them probably has super in the title somewhere, or maybe they just felt like calling this Super Dragon Ball Z just because. It does make it a little awkward to look up now because Dragon Ball Super exists. That certainly makes talking about this game and looking it up a little more hasslesome. And playing this game definitely made me want to play other Dragon Ball Z games again, but I'm not sure I can justify it because I have to record games for work and I have very limited time to work and talk to all my boyfriends and, you know, do all my hobbies. And the Dragon Ball Z fighting games take a while, and if I can't record one of them for work, there's like no point. Maybe I can do Raging Blast 2's Galaxy Mode for work, though. Just one of the Galaxy Mode playthroughs would probably do. I'll have to ask my boss about that. I'm sorry, we already stopped talking about Super Dragon Ball Z again. But if it makes you feel better, I remembered an anecdote related to Super Dragon Ball Z that you will now have to hear about. So when we first got this game, my brother and I, we played it a lot, and my brother really liked playing as Piccolo. And Piccolo has an attack in this game that he has in several other pieces of media, and it's usually translated as Light Grenade or Light Bullet for English-speaking territories. In this game, he calls it Fury Bullet. He shouts Fury Bullet. But it sounds a whole fucking lot like Cherry Bullet, and for the longest time, that's what I thought it was too. And it made sense to me, because sometimes things just have food names in Dragon Ball for no reason. Don't pretend you don't know that. Sometimes things just have food names in this series. But yes, he says Fury Bullet when he uses the attack in this game, and my brother and I both misheard it as Cherry Bullet. And a few days shortly after we played this game, my brother and I were playing RuneScape with our cousins, and my brother didn't really have much experience typing. He was pretty young, and he couldn't figure out how to spell the word bullet properly, and he was trying to type Cherry Bullet in the RuneScape text chat. Just because, you know, he's a kid, and he thinks it's fun to type fun words that he knows from a video game. He's a child. But he could not spell bullet right for the life of him. He spelled Cherry Bolet, Cherry Boulet, Cherry Bollet. Could not spell Cherry Bullet. He couldn't do it, no matter how hard he tried. And he did try over and over. And that, for certain, is absolutely one of my most treasured memories. Just never gonna forget that. I don't even know what we did in RuneScape with our cousin. It didn't seem all that important. It was RuneScape 1.0, by the way. And my brother's an adult now, and I don't live with him anymore. But it's not like either of us have forgotten that. And if he ever does forget it, I will gladly remind him. And if my reminding him doesn't work, we'll just play Super Dragon Ball Z, and I'll make him pick Piccolo, and he'll figure it out. I'll trigger those latent memories, whether he likes it or not. Now, that may only work with trauma. That may imply that he has repressed the memories, but I don't think he's done that. Last I talked with him, he perfectly remembered the situation, the same way I did. And for anybody still hung up on how we thought that he said Cherry Bullet, even though he says Fury Bullet, I want you to remember that Captain Ginyu's projectile attack in Budokai is called the Milky Cannon. And there's no reason for it to be called that. That's just nonsense for the sake of nonsense. Just like how Raditz has an attack called Double Sunday and Saturday Crush. Sometimes names in Dragon Ball are just nonsense. And I definitely also remember fighting my brother in this particular stage a whole lot. Because I remember the trees and the various debris getting in the way, being used as cover. Sometimes it's important to use cover. If you're fighting someone who's using Frieza and you're playing as, say, Trunks, person playing Trunks probably would prefer to hide behind some cover. Even if it's destructible, at least provides momentary relief from all the projectile spamming. There is only the one fight after this, and it's the fight that I ended on in the last video I made about this quite some time ago. But this time we're gonna beat Cell, instead of just give up.
A fool like you should be trembling before me.
Such a waste of time.
So Cell's quite a bit harder for me than everyone else, but I found the optimal solution is just to say fuck it and do everything else I've been doing, including spamming projectiles a whole lot. Cell also has psychokinetic rocks, apparently. That doesn't matter. He has a lot of moves available. We're just gonna do what I've been doing previously until it works. And then we'll have beaten arcade mode. It's hardly a climactic finish to things. And for those of you curious, for the longest time in Super Dragon Ball Z, I thought there might be multiple endings, because the cutscene that comes after you beat Cell is a little depressing. I think maybe something was lost in translation. Because from what I looked up, it most certainly seems like there's only the one ending to arcade mode, where Cell blows up the arena and you fly away. That seems to be the only ending available. Doesn't seem to matter if you beat him as Frieza or Trunks or as Majin Vegeta. Same ending seems to happen no matter what. I'm gonna reiterate something that I said in my original recording of this game from years ago. This game doesn't seem nearly hard enough to have been an arcade game. Like, I know you probably couldn't look up command lists on the arcade cabinet, so that might have made things more difficult. But it really doesn't seem like the game's nearly bullshit enough to have been an arcade game. And I know you could say, well, they obviously lowered the difficulty for the home release, but this is called original mode, and I can't fathom why it would be called that if it didn't have the original difficulty. So maybe it was just a reasonable arcade game. I mean, the Tekken games were in arcade, right? And those have some bullshit final bosses sometimes, but they're not evil or anything, so maybe they just didn't feel like being evil with this one.
Oh, joy, I win. Father would be so proud.
Just a few more seconds, and our surface struck! Looks like this battle's ending in a tie! Seeing you suffer makes it so worthwhile. Game over!
Arise, Shenron, and grant me my wish!
What is your wish? You will have only one.